Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi on this beautiful Wednesday. And by the way, the rest of the week looking pretty much spectacular. Friday a bit cooler, but if you like kind of classic fall weather, we're going to have it all week long. Temperatures upper 60s, low 70s for the most part. Lots of sunshine, but that could change perhaps fairly dramatically for next week. I'll get into a little of that coming up here in the next few minutes, but let's focus on what we're seeing right now, which is a lot of sunshine overhead. One exception would be in southern Colorado, south of the Arkansas River and Highway 50. And that's where we're seeing some cloud cover, but here in Denver, throughout most of the state, things are looking mostly on the sunny side and also fairly mild, about seasonable temperatures. We'll be looking at those highs right around 70 degrees for this afternoon, which is right around normal for the first week of the month of October. So beautiful fall weather. Again, sunshine, 70 degrees. Not much to complain about. Friday, we do cool on down. We're not talking about anything too dramatic. I don't think we're talking about anything close to freeze, for example, so we don't really have to worry about blowing out your sprinklers yet, though we may have to worry about that next week. But in the meantime, Friday, it does look like we do cool on down into the maybe low 40s, and then next week could be potentially more active with a big storm that could be arriving for the mid to end part of next week. Still a long ways out, though. That said, southern Colorado, that's where we're still seeing a little bit of that wet weather up by Trinidad, maybe even as far north as Walsenburg and Pueblo. A few clouds and some showers with a system that's mostly off to our south. It's spinning its way through New Mexico and making it pretty rainy in Santa Fe and Albuquerque and now north towards Raton Pass. But for most of Colorado, we're on the high and dry side. We're just getting a little bit of wet weather in the far southern reaches of our beautiful state. So, forecast for the rest of today, again, along and south of Highway 50. That's where you have the best chance of seeing a stray shower or two. Those clouds and those showers gradually fizzle on out. So if you're joining me from the San Luis Valley, from Trinidad on east into Baca County, again, you do have some rain chances around and some clouds around, but things will gradually dissipate as we head through the rest of our day today. And that should give way to really statewide beautiful sunny day for our day tomorrow. Temperatures right now, pretty seasonably cool, 50s, 60s eastern plains, 40s and 50s on up into the mountains at this hour. For today, highs right near 70 degrees and mostly sunny skies. For me, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this. Again, those beautiful sunny skies overhead and temperatures right around 70. T-shirt weather for us this afternoon. Very, very comfortable air mass for us overhead right now. Again, this is right around where we should be for this time of year. 50s, 60s into the mountains for those highs for your day today. 60s and 70s for the most part in the eastern part of Colorado. Maybe a little bit cooler in Springfield and Trinidad, where we're going to have a bit more cloud cover throughout the rest of our day. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer than today with a high of about 71 for us, and winds on the light side southwest at 5 to 15 miles an hour. By the way, of course, got the Broncos game here tomorrow night, and things looking great for tailgating for the game itself. I'll have a more detailed Broncos forecast, though, coming up in about 2 to 3 minutes. Forecast highs for tomorrow statewide. This is, again, pretty typical stuff for this time of year, and I'm not really looking at any significant rain chances either as we head through our day tomorrow. Again, tomorrow in southern Colorado looks drier than today. That system that's spinning its way through New Mexico slowly peters on out and moves out of the way, and that should lead to some gradually drier conditions for our day tomorrow. 7-day forecast, though, we do have those sunny skies. I should say the Broncos game is actually tomorrow night, but we do have highs dropping down into the low 60s for us. The Bronco logo shouldn't be overhead there, but we'll overlook that. 63 for our Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we warm back up into the low to mid 70s, and it'll stay that way into early next week before we see some potentially significant changes for the middle to end part next week. Now, as far as that Broncos game is concerned, again, tomorrow, just about could not be better in terms of that weather for the game tomorrow night. Kickoff temperatures just a tick below 70 degrees, halftime 63, fourth quarter 59. So certainly bring a sweatshirt, maybe a blanket if you're a bit more sensitive to the cold for that game for tomorrow night. Otherwise, shouldn't see any big issues for the game weather-wise. Winds will be light. Again, lots of sunshine, no concerns from the skies, no concerns from the winds, and even those temperatures. Again, typical fall stuff, but I think it's going to be pretty comfortable for the most part. We'll get a little chilly towards the end of the game. Now, speaking of getting a little bit chilly, well, next week, this is next week, so You're seeing that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time window. Keep in mind, we're talking about next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's when we could be talking about an area of low pressure that dives on into a region and could bring us maybe some heftier mountain snow, maybe our first more significant mountain snow, 3 inches plus above 9,000 feet in elevation for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. And then there's also the potential for our first Denver freeze and maybe a bit of slushy snow here in Denver for the end of next week. Now, it's Wednesday and we're talking about next Thursday. So this is 8 days out. I don't have to tell you that forecasting here in Colorado 2 days out could be challenging. So when we're talking about 8 days out, take this with a grain of salt. But I just want to indicate to you that it does look like it looks more active for the mid to end part of next week. I would also say this, if you are scheduling to blow out your sprinklers, I might go ahead and do that this weekend or early next week. Just word to the wise there. I would get that done ASAP. If you're a homeowner and you're trying to get that done, I would do it sooner rather than later. My odds would be that we could be looking at a pretty decent chance at a freeze for the end of next week. So keep that in mind. Also, I'll say this, meteorologically, it makes sense. This is right around when we would typically expect our first measurable snow of the season here in Denver. So our average first measurable snow is October the 18th. I'll say this, for the last 5 years, we've seen measurable snow on or before October the 10th. So I know last year was a total weirdo year. We had our first snowless fall on record, smashed every record basically with what we saw last fall. This, what if we were to see snow next week, that would be more, even in a warming climate, that would be more usual for us to see snow next week as opposed to waiting till November, December. It's not normal for us to wait into the month of December. Again, last year was the only time on record that's ever happened. Again, point being is that if we do get snow next week, it would make sense. But again, it's still a ways out here, folks. I would say in Denver, the forecast, it's all over the place. So the computer model's still figuring it out. I would say it does look like two things. One, for the mid to end part of next week, it looks pretty likely that the mountains will pick up somewhere in the mountains. Again, details are certainly lacking, but I think it's safe to say that 9,000 feet or above, we will probably get some fairly meaningful snow, again, 3 inches plus on up into the mountains above 9,000 feet, mid to end part of next week. And number two, it does look like we will probably cool on down fairly significantly here in the Denver area for the mid to end part of next week, with the possibility of maybe seeing a little bit of slushy snow. We'll figure that out as we get later on into the week and to the upcoming weekend. That's when we'll probably get a bit more clarity on the possible snow situation here in Denver. But again, if we were to see anything, I don't think at this point it would look anything that significant. It's the system's mostly going to be off to our north and west. So just worth noting, though, it does look like we will see some more active weather for the mid to end part of next week. In the meantime, enjoy this beautiful fall weather. Highs in the 60s and 70s, lots of sun. We saw rain last weekend, so no real fire concerns either. So enjoy it. We've got great weather here in place for the next little while. Again, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Meteorologist Lauren Robinson will have an update for you at 9 News at noon. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin's in at 4 and 5, and then Meteorologist Danielle Grant will be in tonight at 6, 9, and 10 on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, I'm Chris Bianchi. Thanks again for joining us here on 9 News Plus. Have a great and also enjoy all the sunshine here for the rest of this Wednesday.